Hello, and welcome to Storytime Revolution, where I, Jared McCurrin, share my love of reading with you. Today, we're going to be going through A Caribou Alphabet by Beth Owens. I have not read this one. It looks kind of fun. Thank you for joining me today, and please let me know how I do. Share in the comments. I love participation. Those are caribou tracks. Written and illustrated by Beth Owens. This is her passion project, at least one of many ways. To the sovereign God, who is my strength, who makes my feet like the feet of deer, and enables me to go upon the heights. Habakkuk 3:19. Copyrighted 1988. A caribou's antlers can grow mighty large. A, lowercase a, that's a caribou. B, lowercase b, bulls spar in the autumn to see who's in charge. That's just a true fact. Cool book already. C, lowercase c, caribou cows protect calves as they grow. D, lowercase d, and teach them to dig for their food in the snow. E, uppercase, E, lowercase. There's your wolf. Wolf like to chase and eat lame caribou. An icy escape on swift, steady feet. F, lowercase f, is rewarded in spring. Ooh. I like that. A icy escape on swift, steady feet is rewarded in spring with sweet foliage to eat. Foliage, F. Lowercase f. Escape, E. I'm going to do it that way now. I like that more. I'm going to read it all the way across. How it's supposed to be. Grazing on plants that grow close to the ground. Caribou travel in herds the year round. I like that more, guys. This is an uppercase G for grazing, and there's a lowercase g. Here's an uppercase H for herds, and a lowercase h, grazing. When maddened by insects, a herd may stampede. Spring's journey moves on at a much slower speed. I for insects, uppercase and lowercase. There's an insect. Journey, J for journey and a lowercase j. Kalmea plants, such as Labrador tea, are as tasty a meal as lichen can be. That's a pretty K, uppercase K with all those pretty flowers, and a lowercase k. And there's Kalmea, I think. And here's a bunch of lichen on this uppercase L. And here's some caribou eating some lichen on this lowercase L. And there's the word lichen. Lichen grows on trees a lot. Migrating bulls follow trails old and worn, while newborns arrive where their mothers were born. An uppercase M for migrating, and a lowercase m, maybe for mountain there in the back. Here's uppercase N for newborns, and the lowercase n. Old man's beard is a lichen which hangs from spruce trees, but a predator's taste is much harder to please. Caribou don't mind eating the plants. This big O, with all this old man's beard, lichen. There's old, O and lowercase o. And here are some common predators of the caribou. P for predator and a lowercase p. I guess those are common predators for caribou. That's what I got to assume anyways, based on that picture. The Canadian quarter sports a caribou head, while reindeer pull Laplanders home in a sled. Here's a Q for quarter and a lowercase q. And here's a reindeer, which is RR. Reindeer and a lowercase r. I didn't know reindeer pulled sled. Well, that's silly, Jared. Reindeer pulled Santa Claus sled. Vigorous swimmers of river and stream, caribou show by their tracks where they been. S, uppercase and lower, for swimmers. And T, uppercase and lower, for tracks. Tracks. I've always liked animal tracks. An ungulate's hooves help on every terrain. Itchy velvet rubs off on strong antlers, and strong antlers remain. Ungulates. Did not know that was a word. Ungulates, I think are deer. Ungulates must be deer. Two-hoofed deer? I'm making an assumption here, though, readers. Uppercase U, lowercase u, ungulates. That's a fun word. V, or velvet, which you can see shedding off their horns. Lowercase v and upper. Into the wintry woodland they go, by Micmac called Xalakboo, parer of snow. I hope I said that word right. W for woodland, and maybe a lowercase w for wintry. And off they go. Maybe these are the Micmac people, I'm not sure. This is Xalakboo. Maybe Xalakboo is what they call them, uppercase X, lowercase x, pawer of snow, because they're always looking for forage and pawing the snow. These must be the Micmac people. It's gotta be. Curious yearlings find comfort together. Caribou thrive in below zero weather? Man. Uppercase Y, lowercase y, nest in the sky. Yearlings, that means they're around a year old. Just freshly sprouting horns. Z, uppercase and lower, for zero, which is really, really, really cold. Ooh, I should read this for sure. A Caribou Compendium by Mark McCallum. Antlers. Bull caribou and some cows can grow antlers. The cows use their antlers for protection. Bulls use their antlers to spar with each other during the autumn breeding season. Sometime in winter or early spring, the antlers fall off, just like leaves from a tree. In the spring, a new set will grow. Bulls. Male caribou are called bulls or stags. They are much larger than females and weigh from 200 to 650 pounds. In the autumn, a fully grown bull caribou has majestic bronze antlers which sweep over his head in a graceful arc. His neck is covered by a long, flowing mane. He is very strong from thrashing bushes and fighting with other males. If he is successful in battles with other males, he will stand guard over a group of 3 to 15 cows. Cows. Female caribou are called cows or does. A cow caribou weighs between 150 and 275 pounds. Caribou mothers give birth to one calf each May or June. The calf follows its mother for a year. During that time, she protects it from predators and teaches it how to survive in the lands of the north. Dig. In the winter, when the snow gets deep, it becomes difficult to find food. Caribou gather on ridgetops where much of the snow is blown away by the wind. Here, they sniff the ground for lichens, grasses, and herbs, and dig away the snow using their large hooves. Escape. Caribou have to be alert for danger. They prefer to gather close together in open areas like bogs, tundra, and frozen lakes, where they can detect an approaching bear or wolf at some distance. If a predator approaches, a caribou might give an alarm signal by lifting its head high and putting a hind leg out to one side. Other caribou recognize this signal and prepare to escape. If the predator comes too close, the whole herd takes off at a run, trying to outdistance the danger. Foliage. Caribou are herbivores, which means they are plant-eating animals. In all, caribou are known to eat 250 kinds of plants, including wild mushrooms. Some of their most common foliage foods include willow, grasses, bunchberry, and huckleberry. During the long Arctic summer days, caribou feed constantly to build up a layer of fat for the winter. The fat helps keep them warm and provides energy when it is hard to find food in the deep snows. Graze. Caribou are grazing animals, meaning that most of the time they eat plants that are close to the ground. If you travel in northern Alaska or Canada in the summer, you might see thousands of caribou grazing peacefully on the tundra. That would be cool. Herd. Caribou spend much of the year in large herds. A migrating herd might stretch for 50 miles and be made up of thousands of animals. Each herd has a leader, usually an older adult female. She leads the migration and finds the best pastures for feeding and resting. Insects. In the summer, millions of biting insects emerge from shallow ponds on the tundra. About the same time, caribou shed their thick winter coat. Their sparse summer coat is just right for hot summer days, but doesn't provide much protection against the insects. Caribou herds will often panic and run for days to get away from the black flies, mosquitoes, warble flies, and bot flies. Sometimes they find refuge on a snowfield or a windy ridge top. Other times they travel to the Arctic Ocean to stand in the cool ocean breezes. Journey. Caribou are constantly on the move to their traditional summering, breeding, wintering, and calving areas. For some herds of barren ground caribou, this yearly journey can be over 1,000 miles. A young caribou learns this important migration by following its mother during the first year of its life. A mother caribou will return to the place it was born to give birth to its calf. Kalmaya. Kalmaya is the name given to the genus of plants that can be found in the wet, cool environment of a bog. Labrador tea, sheep laurel, and pale laurel are a few of the members of the genus Kalmaya that are a favorite food of caribou. Lichen. Lichen is a small, spongy plant that grows on the shallow soils of the tundra. Some people call it reindeer moss or caribou candy because the caribou eat it whenever they can. Actually, deer and moose will also eat lichen, but caribou are the only members of the deer family that can live entirely off this unique plant. Migrate. There are two kinds of caribou, woodland and barren ground. Barren ground caribou live in the farthest northern regions of Canada and Alaska. These herds of caribou are on the move year-round. In the spring, the cows begin to migrate to their traditional calving areas. The bulls and yearling calves follow at a more leisurely pace. The cows and their new calves continue to move all summer, often 300 miles or more. In autumn, the mature bulls rejoin the herd. After the breeding season, or rut, the herds are again on the move to the wintering areas. In this way, Caribou always have enough plants to graze on. Newborn caribou are small, weighing only 10 to 15 pounds, but are up on their feet and nursing within an hour of birth. Within 2 hours, the calf can teeter after its mother on long, spindly legs. A 4-day-old caribou can outrun a man and maybe even a wolf. That's amazing. The mother's caribou's milk is the richest of any land animal. On this nutritious diet, the calf grows quickly and doubles its weight in just 2 to 3 weeks. Dang. Old man's beard. Woodland caribou live in the northern forest from Newfoundland to British Columbia. At one time, they even flourished in states like Maine, New York, and Minnesota. In the winter, woodland caribou often eat old man's beard, a type of lichen that hangs off the branches of spruce and fir trees. This light green lichen got its name because it resembles the scraggly beard of an old man. In the winter, woodland caribou run toward the sound of dead trees falling. They know that these trees are often covered with old man beard, which makes a tasty feast for a hungry caribou. Predators. Wolves, bears, lynx, and people have always hunted caribou. Predators are nature's way of removing sick and weak animals from the herd, allowing strong and healthy caribou to survive. The Eskimo, Inuit, Lap, and Sami people have been careful hunters, taking only what they need and using all parts of the animal. In recent times, however, some humans have upset this balance by overhunting and disrupting or destroying traditional grazing lands, migratory routes, and breeding grounds. Shame on them. Hunting is a serious business, and it shouldn't be taken lightly and done for sport and fun. Shame on them. Quarter. Several million caribou still live in the tundra, bogs, barren, and forest of Canada. Canadians have honored caribou as one of the symbols of the country by putting a caribou on the back of the quarter. Other animals on Canadian coins and dollar bills are beavers, robins, loons, and kingfishers. I can respect that. Reindeer. There are slight differences between the caribou of North America and the reindeer of Europe and Asia. Reindeer are generally smaller than North American caribou. Some have been tamed and used as work animals. Laplanders who live in northern Europe depend on reindeer herds for their livelihood. The polkaka, I hope I said that right, is a traditional sled pulled by reindeer to carry supplies and people. Swimmers. Caribou are strong swimmers, readily crossing swift rivers and large lakes during their travels. Their broad hooves act as paddles, and their hollow hair helps them float in the water. Caribou swim with their heads held high above the water at speeds of up to 5 miles an hour. Tracks. If you travel in caribou country, you are bound to find caribou tracks. They look like 2 big half moons in the snow. Caribou hooves are very large with soft pads and lots of hair. A caribou's wide hooves allow it to walk on spongy bobs and work like paddles when it swims. In the winter, the hooves grow even larger, which helps the caribou walk on snow as if it were wearing snowshoes. That's cool. Ungulate. An ungulate is a mammal whose toes have horny coverings called hooves. Caribou, deer, moose, elk, pigs, sheep, oxen, and horses are all ungulates that live in North America. That makes sense. Velvet. When caribou antlers are growing in the summer, they are covered with a black fuzzy skin called velvet. This special skin contains lots of little blood vessels that carry nutrients to help the antlers grow. In June and July, the antlers grow very quickly, at a rate of up to 1/2 inch a day. At this time, caribou are careful not to bump and injure their antlers. In the late fall, when the antlers are done growing, the velvet begins to itch. Then the caribou rub their antlers against trees to scrape the velvet off. Woodlands. In the winter, the woodlands are an important feeding ground for caribou. The soft, light snow in the forest is easier to dig than the wind-packed surface of the barren grounds. If the snow in the forest becomes firmly crusted, a caribou can walk on top to reach the lichens on tree branches. How convenient. Xalaboo. The name caribou comes from this Micmac Indian word which means the pawer. It is easy to understand why caribou were given this name, since they spend the greatest part of their time digging for mosses and lichens beneath the snow. Yearling. When a caribou is 1 year old, it is called a yearling. Just before a mother caribou is ready to give birth to her new calf, she chases her yearling calf away. A yearling cow won't be ready to have her own calf until she is 3 years old. Until then, she gathers and grazes with the other young caribou. 0 degrees. A caribou is able to survive extremely cold temperatures. Its coat of thick hair insulates it from cold. Even its nose and ears are covered with hair. A caribou's blood changes temperature by becoming cooler when it enters its legs and warmer when it comes back into the rest of its body. Because of this heat exchange, the temperature in its hooves is about 50 degrees, while its body temperature remains 130 degrees. Caribou feet remain flexible in sub-zero temperatures because of a special antifreeze in the fats that surround their hooves. Cool. More caribou tracks. And I super duper enjoyed that book. That was awesome, especially the end. What a lot of fun knowledge that I didn't know about caribou. All right, so this is a donation-based program. I am delighted to bring it to you, but if you see value in it, I would ask that you repay that value with a little bit of your hard-earned money. This is how I want to earn mine, but I want it to be because I'm worth it, and you want me to keep doing it. Because if I don't get a little bit back from everyone who watches this, or at least most of you who watch it, then I don't know if I'll be able to keep doing it. Well, I take that back. I'm always going to do it. If I have to use massage therapy to earn money, I will. But I'm going to do this as well until this gets so big that it does provide enough for me. Because I'm not going to stop doing it. All right. For all the other things about me, if this is a podcast or you're watching on YouTube, either way, just check in the show notes. I've got a description of everything else I do. It's quite a bit. I've got a bunch of other videos, and maybe by the time you're watching this, I've got even more of those videos uploaded, more than likely. I hope you enjoyed this. Please subscribe. I have a lot more books on my channel, and I've got more books coming every single day. I have a children's daily Bible that I read, and I'm fixing to start up my daily Bible that I've been reading every day. I'm just going to kind of start reading it out loud here, and then just kind of go through as I read my Bible. I'll be reading out loud. I think it's the best way to read the Bible anyway, so that's kind of how I want to do it. Man, it's been a pleasure, and I'm looking forward to reading the next one. It's going to be The True Princess. What makes someone a true princess in Jesus' eyes. So, thank you for joining me, and until we meet again, may the road rise to meet you. May the wind be always at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face. The rains fall soft upon your fields. And until we meet again, may God hold you in the hollow of his hand. God bless, my friends.